Hello, welcome to Loose Bars. I am Devereaux, the host.
Yeah.
I'm Hambeau.
I'm Calloway.
I'm Meir, Calloway.
Well, the first topic we want to start with is the management of displaced Haitians since the earthquake, which occurred earlier this month.
When you look at these events, or I shouldn't say these events, but when you look at something that takes place that's so devastating that affects so many people, you know, I'm on the outside looking in, and you think about how things should run. And one of the things I saw was, or didn't see, was what they were doing with the displaced victims. And it didn't seem like they were getting them somewhere safe. In terms of, you know, at my job we were discussing, we were saying, well, why don't they take some of the people off these ships, or these ships that are sitting in port, these army ships that are sitting there, and, you know, take some of the victims off the land, especially when there was the thing of a new earthquake, the aftershock that would come about. You know, like, why don't they get them off the island to somewhere else, to a safe ground, and then start, you know, doing away with some of the rubble and seeing that people were in there. It seemed like in a lot of instances they just are running, but there's no pre-thought. There's no management of how things are run. And I don't know if there's some people in place that that we have that handle things when they're disasters, but it seemed like to me that they weren't getting the people who survived away from the area, that it would loosen up so other things can come in, like supplies or the Red Cross, or the people that would be there to help the people. You know, the people were still there that were, you know, able to walk or, you know, get away. It didn't seem like they were trying to put them in a safe in a safe place or a safe environment. And that was one of the things they said. Well, those big ships that handle a lot of Navy people, why didn't they put them on ships and feed them and clothe them and, you know, wash them up and take them away from that area? I mean, that sounds a little far-fetched, but that's just something, you know.
It's not really that far-fetched. I mean, if you have these catastrophic events going on and are continuing to go on, as far as you still got 5.9 on the Richter scale earthquakes happening over there, the first thought should be to get the people on safe land. I mean, you can't help anybody if you got people that survived and they're still in a way of danger because it's still earthquakes happening and it's still unstable buildings and everything over there falling down all around them. The first thing you got to do is get the people that are rescued onto safe ground.
I mean, that's easy to say, but, you know, people have to remember that there's not one person there's not one organization in charge. It's not like the United States is in charge of the Haiti rescue effort, or the Red Cross is in charge, or Oxfam. No, it is like all of these different people who are desperately trying to do what they can from all over the world. And I think I read something the other day, and it was one of the people from, I don't know, a Navy person at the airport. And they were just dealing with a lot of the frustrated aid workers at the airports trying to find their supplies, and things are coming in, they can't find them. And the guy said, you know, we're getting a flood of help and, you know, and supplies and everything, but it's like taking a drink of water from a fire hose. It's so much stuff. We are overwhelmed with everything, you know, because the world has never seen anything of this magnitude. So, you know, so I would definitely give them some slack. Even with the ships that she was talking about, those ships serve like very specific purposes. The NS Comfort ship is a hospital. They can't set up tents and bring in, you know, just diseased people, and, you know, because you wouldn't do that with a hospital. A hospital is a sterile place where you heal people. As far as and as well as the ships that are carrying aid, you can't. I guess they can't mess up the order of what's going on with just bombarding these ships with with displaced people when really how are the aid workers going to do their job if they they're now living amongst the the displaced people.
So, wait a minute, I didn't catch all of it. So you're saying that you think that it wouldn't be a sensible thing to place them on the ships and get them somewhere else?
Well, I was saying that the ships serve a certain purpose, like the NS Comfort, the naval ship, is a floating hospital. And you can't just set up like tents and and just housing people basically in a hospital and in a floating hospital. Otherwise, they won't really be able to service the people that they've come to help. I mean, it sounds idealistic that oh, you got this big floating ship, you got these big Navy ships with all these with all that space, but I don't think they'll be able to perform their rescue efforts if they are crowded and housed in by all of by the people.
Well, I'm saying not on top of each other. I'm saying you would get the purpose is to get the people off the island because there is fear of an aftershock. So my point is that would be and let's talk about the ports were also messed up. So maybe that isn't a thing. But after the ports were put back in place, that some people could get to the ships to take them somewhere else. I'm not saying keep them there, but I'm sure they have empty ships. I'm not talking about the hospital ships.
No, there's really no empty ships. I mean, every ship there serves a purpose. I'm actually I'm a government contractor, so.
But I'm saying, okay, my point is that
no, there are no empty ships.
Okay,
Every
but you can make a ship empty. My point is that if you're talking about somebody, for me, I'm not going to say, well, this ambulance or this car is only used to take you to the store. I'm not going to take you if you got a gunshot. I think that if, this is only for this or this is only for that. I think that in those type of situations, let's talk about get them off the island. Let's try to save as many people who are not injured, and then get the people in to deal with the people who are not.
I think if you transport all the men over to the Dominican Republic, that'll make them feel better right away. Because I know it would make me feel better.
What happened? Well, from my understanding of the reason why they haven't really moved anybody off the island was two concerns. One was of disease, because right now there's like a lot of typhoid. There's infection. There's people that have been treated for an infection that had gotten like limbs amputated or limbs were crushed and stuff like that. They were treated, but they don't have the resources to retreat them.
People who are still, probably millions maybe, who are still walking around Haiti are very traumatized. Where does it end? Who do you take?
Well,
what bunch of people do you put on this ship?
That was the thing.
And do they really want to? Well, actually, the rest of Haiti is fine. It's just Port-au-Prince. And and kind of like the surrounding area, but there's a huge portion of the country that was not seriously affected. But even getting them, I'm sure that it's well beyond what any of us can imagine. But even getting them out of Port-au-Prince is a humongous task. I mean, because it's still the matter of treating people and finding people and recovering. And
so what's the solution?
It's the matter of the disease.
That's the question.
Was
what's
the first
solution?
thing. And before the earthquake happened, they had like a huge AIDS epidemic in Haiti. So before this happened, there were people that were disease carriers, and they weren't treated before. So now it's like twice as many. So before they can take them out of one place and put them somewhere else, they have to screen these people, which is going to take forever. And the other thing is that the other concern that they don't really talk about much was that the prison was also destroyed in the earthquake, and there are fugitive, criminally insane people, fugitive, violent, murderous people